Hey, welcome back everybody. It's Myron Rumsey from the podcast of OA and the blog of OA, and I'm back with another product review. This time around, we're not looking at something that's just for the Green Lantern fan, but this is something that pretty much any comic book fan is going to get a big kick out of. You know, it seems like today everybody's talking about what makes us different. But if you go back to yesteryear, I think there's an experience that a lot of us had that's the same no matter where we lived. And that's that before the days of the local comic book shop and the online retailers, we all shared a common experience of going to the local drugstore or a local convenience store and getting our comic books by looking at these tall metal spinner racks and circling them around and looking for the books we wanted. Those days are long gone. And yeah, you can still buy those vintage comic book racks on the secondary market, but they come with a pretty hefty price tag. So there's a company out there now that is making a modern version of the classic spinner rack, still at a pretty good price tag, but a much more affordable by a long shot. This company, SpinnerRack.com, makes their spinner racks in two different sizes. One for classic comic books, from the classic Silver Age and Golden Age books all the way up to today's books, even big enough to hold trade paperbacks. And then they have a wider version which holds graded comics. So, knowing my Lantern Cave needed to have a spinner rack, I've been saving my pennies for a while now. Over this past weekend, my spinner rack showed up. And I thought, well, you know, this is an investment. There aren't a lot of video reviews out there. I thought, you know, I'd do an unboxing, I'd put it together, throw some comic books in it, and share my thoughts in case it's something you might be interested in. So give me a few minutes, I'll get this unboxed, thrown together, and we'll see what we think. All right, well, I'm back. I was going to show you guys a sped up video of me unboxing and doing the assembly, but a couple things. There's really very little assembly required. And the other thing was I ran into a bit of a problem. So I thought, well, rather than do that, I'll just jump to it all done. I'll talk about what you have to do for assembly and the glitch I ran into, because it speaks very well from my perspective on the customer support. So the first thing you have to do is you have to elevate this rack. When I got this and unboxed it, there were no instructions for assembly. So I didn't know what to do. And the rack was sitting flush on the base. So it wasn't floating in the air to be able to revolve. And I noticed there were ball bearings in the bottom, and I'll show you pictures of the before and after. But I didn't know what to do. There was a pin, and there were a couple spots where you could put the pin in the center post. But again, not knowing what to do, I didn't want to take a chance of damaging anything. So on Saturday, this past Saturday, I reached out to their customer support, and within 24 hours, got an email back with pictures of what I was supposed to do. And I had it up and going within 5 minutes of getting the email and opening it up and looking at it. And really all I needed to do was to lift the ball bearings up, slide the little pin through to hold it in place, and that gave the rack something to float on. And I bring it up not to point out a fault. I mean, obviously shipping instructions would have been, or packing instructions would have been helpful, but the customer support, this was a weekend, got a response within 24 hours. To me, that speaks very highly of the company. So SpinnerRack.com, thanks again for coming through for me. And the other thing was, you have to assemble this little top piece. And all these two white pieces slide together, pop in place, less than 2 minutes. 3 for klutzy like me. In terms of the quality, you know, the first thing that jumps out, obviously, for me is the signage, the retro signage on the top. These are very, very reminiscent of what we used to see back in the day. Now, obviously, they don't have anything with the licensed characters or licensed company names on them, because that would cost them additional funds, and then it would cost us more money for the spinner rack. But these signs come out. You know, they can pop them in, put them in however you want. But if you were creative enough, you could take these and measure it and print off your own inserts, either on paper and put them in front of the blank side, or print them off on some more sturdier material and just slide them in. And I think that's really cool, because it allows us to take the spinner rack and make it our spinner rack instead of a spinner rack. So you can customize it. You know, you could label it how you want to for each column if you want to do something that way. Or you could go back and find some of the other retro signs from back in the day and recreate them. It's great stuff. I think if you look at the powder coat quality, it's great. There's no sharp edges. There's no dings. This comes in black or white, so you could get it in a black finish. You could get it in a white finish, whichever you'd like. And again, it comes in 2 sizes. This is the classic. They also make one for CGC books. In terms of capacity, I think they kind of upped the capacity from what we used to be able to get, because I can get 12 books bagged and boarded in one section. And what that means is you can get, like I said, 12 per spot. There's 10 spots per column. That's 480 books. For some people, that might be their entire collection. But for others, you can pick and choose what has meaning for you and put them in your spinner rack. The other thing you can do is I chose to put some trade paperbacks in here. I tend to try to buy hardcovers when I can, but some things just have not come out in hardcover. So soft covers will go in here. I've got these DC showcases that I got from Ollie's for like $1 of Challengers of the Unknown, and we're able to get them in here with no problem whatsoever. And these are thick books. So again, you can get the inch thick books in here. I think I stretched it a little bit with From Hell because it's a little bit more than an inch, and you can see where it kind of bows. Maybe you can't see, but I can see where it bows out a little bit here in the center to clear these to post above it. But you can get some hardcovers in here, whatever you like. I know whenever I talk about somebody who's got one of these, I always ask them, what'd you put in your rack? So I'll tell you what I put in my rack. I put in this whole column of autographed books. I decided that autographed books I generally kept in my long boxes. And the downside to that as a fan is that they're out of sight, out of mind. So by putting them in the spinner rack, I have them right here. They remind me of either when I've met some of these creators or special moments for me. So, for example, I didn't get a chance to meet Julia Schwartz and Gil Kane, but having a book signed by them is important to me as a Green Lantern fan. But I've got a lot of books in here, Mike Grell, Joe Giella and Joe Staton. That was a neat trip. So I'm reminded of that. So I think that's great. The other thing I've done is I've put in books that mean a lot to me. I couldn't be a Green Lantern fan and not put Showcase 22 in here. So that's obviously represented well. I've put in, like I said, trade paperbacks of different books. I've got the entire Robert Venditti, Hal Jordan, and the Green Lantern Corps run in 2 spots. That's great. So that's really fun. And then I decided to put in some classic series like Crisis on Infinite Earths or Darwin Cook's DC The New Frontier, JLA Year One, and some other things. And then I decided to round it out with some other non-DC, necessarily non-Green Lantern books of things that either don't fit on my shelf very well, or they're trade paperbacks, or those kind of things. And I've even put in some horror comics, because some of my favorite books are some of the horror comics, and some of the covers are some of my fondest memories of a kid. So I decided to put some of that in here. And it's funny, in the 2 or 3 days I've had my spinner rack, I have caught myself coming in here, not because I had something I needed to do, but to come in here and play and look through and flip through the books. Even though I know perfectly well what's in here, I find myself just kind of reliving those youthful memories. And there's a lot of value in that. So people are going to ask, is this worth buying? I think absolutely it's worth buying. It's, like I said, less than the cost of a sideshow statue. It makes a great presentation piece. It reminds you of things that are important to you as a comic book fan when you have them out here and you can see them. For the price of, I think it was $360, that's not a lot to pay for that kind of thing. This is going to last a long, long time. Very smooth operation because of the ball bearings. So yeah, I really can't recommend it highly enough. I think if you look at spinnerrack.com and you look at the 2 versions they have, I think they do manufacturing runs periodically. So when they're not in stock, they're doing pre-orders, and then they wait until they must have a certain number of orders or what have you, or they've planned a manufacturing period, and then they make them to order. Mine was relatively quickly. I've been saving up for a while. I put it in order just as they were ending the pre-order, and they were shipping the end of July. I got mine on Friday. So I can't say enough good things about it. Great customer support, great product, a lot cheaper than looking on the secondary market and hunting down things on eBay, that's for sure. So I hope this is helpful for you. Please like and subscribe if you like this content. We don't do a lot of videos, but we do some, and we're going to try and do more. I'm going to be doing a tour of my Lantern Cave pretty soon because people keep asking me about it. But until next time, stay well, treat each other well, and make every day your brightest day. Take care. Thanks so much for watching this Green Lantern video from the blog of OA. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find even more great Green Lantern videos, reviews, podcasts, and more at our main website, www.blogofoa.com. So until next time, keep your power ring charged and make every day your brightest day.